the loudest fucking stream.
Dude. Oh, it's so fucking annoying.
All right. Well, as I'm starting this up, hello, YouTube people. We're also inviting the YouTube people here. Very impromptu. I just came back from the movies and whatnot. I wasn't expecting to listen to Cobra and the nonsense. It wasn't even, it was planned, but it wasn't, I guess it wasn't even made aware for most people until, what, the last 24 hours? And it's a premiere.
Whoa.
Let me get you. Let me get.
Gosh, what a weirdo.
All right. Where's Shy? Where's Shy? Shy Clap? There he is.
I'm nowhere. No.
No, he's on the screen now. Yeah, I know it's on. We're gonna be swapping to it here in a sec.
Where's my brave? Brave, I need you.
Let me crop this really quick so I don't give away the room code.
Wait.
Come on, we don't want to give away the room code, or else people are going to be ruining everything. They're going to be ruining the fine.
Yeah, no, we don't need professionals.
We're already professional idiots.
Yeah. And I don't.
Okay, this will be good enough.
King Cobra Groundhog Day.
King Cobra. Wait, what?
Oh, that's the. I think that's. Oh. I think that was the stupid and an 18-pack of Bud Light and an 18-pack of Bud Light.
An 18-pack of Bud Light. Son of a gun.
Let's see.
All right. I got it ready to go. If you got it ready to go, I'm ready to watch. Do you want me to? I can stream it to you. Well, actually, no, I don't have to stream it to you. Just join up in the whatchamacallit. For those of you who are joining up on YouTube right now, we're currently on Twitch. I'm going to keep just the Twitch chat on. Hopefully you guys have been all right. If you have a drink, you don't necessarily need a drink combo, but you can have one prepared right now. We're just going to be reacting to the supposedly last thing that we're going to ever get out of the King Cobra JFS channel, the Josh Celebration of Light. Man. Better be drinking a mead. We'll set that up for later. I thought about it. I was like, oh shit, I want to break out a mead. I'm already feeling pretty bloated. We just stepped out. We did movie night. Just had some Chinese. I'm feeling fat as fuck, boy.
Not to alarm you. I gotta download Phasmophobia.
Oh my gosh, download it later.
No, I'm downloading it right now.
No, join up in the room. I don't see you in the room.
Hey, Stinky.
Ooh,
come on, we're gonna watch this. Check in the Discord.
Oh, Stinky.
It's the watch together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna use the watch together.
Ew.
New Cobra, only a year, but sad passing regardless. R.I.P. I agree, PT. Hello, Rydrake. Can I join when I'm back home? No, Ry. You're not allowed. Thanks for going live on Toobz. I appreciate it. Thank you for appreciating it. Unofficial DSP historian. I'm vaping in Cobra's honor. We appreciate it. I'm gonna go grab a beer. I can at least suffer a beer. I don't see why not. Go ahead and get your drinks. Get your drinks in. Give me 1 sec.
Get your smoke. Get your smoke. Okay. That's. And then I gotta crop stuff quick. No. There you go. There you can listen to some nice music. Feels. Or. I mean, if you want to, you You could come join
You know how to go.
yeah.
That's pretty good. Oh my gosh, right here, get out of here. What are you doing with these shout outs? Lights, get him out off the
There's
screen.
a troll out there called Mexicano12 and he's illegally restreaming me.
Get out of here.
Yeah, get him the fuck out of here.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
Who
Wake up.
cares?
Wake up. Wake up. Hi, sorry. Yeah, I really didn't want to wake you up upon this midnight dreary, but I just had to. I gotta ask you, where's the milk at?
Milk's right here. Are you ready to go?
I am down. Wait, no, actually, hold on.
You better finish downloading.
No, I'm downloading it right now, but I gotta grab my pills. I forgot to grab my pills. I'm gonna die if I don't get.
Yeah, go grab your pill.
Oh,
I don't need you dying.
Okay.
You need to listen to this. I had the $100 Amazon earned shipped on time. You know, I'm fucking freaking out over that. We have him in an urn, but that urn looks fucking sick as shit though. Man, he's got he's going out in style. Showed off the urn. It was like green and black. Like the flames, dude. I love you, Papa Nips. This is my 36th birthday. Spending and remembering Josh. Happy 36th birthday. Appreciate it. Fuck Nish 80s 89. What's happening? Oh, well, okay. So natal cough. Today is the fated day. For those of you who are not aware, Clint had promised us that we were going to have a Josh celebration of life thing. It was going to be on the YouTube premiere or YouTube, whatever, on Josh's YouTube. Thing is that I've been saying that it was most likely going to be a premiere of a video, not a live stream. There's no way on earth Clint was going to do a live stream. I don't think he could handle it. I really don't. So we have had the official premiere. It's already started. Technically, it's already underway. I don't know how long the video is going to be, but I would like to watch it with everybody to celebrate Josh. In honor of Josh, we have, we went ahead and just grabbed an Angry Orchard out of the fridge. I was like, shit, I gotta get something out of here. I mean, I can also pop open the Jack Daniels. I just don't ever have any combos to do.
All right, I have returned.
I also got some rum left. Jesus, I got way too much alcohol in here.
Oh. Fuck, should I actually do hard alcohol or
No. Just get something. I'm already feeling bloated as shit. Ain't no way I'm gonna be drinking like that.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I got a Labatt Blue.
A Labatt Blue.
We love Labatt Blue.
Okay, Labatt Blue. I got it. I got you. Pour the apple cider in the Jack Daniels. Goddamn. I don't know, Ann. Is it wrong to think Cobra's dad is trying to get? No, I don't think he's trying to get away with it. I'm still coming to terms with it. Me and Shy are in agreement. It does not feel real. I feel like tomorrow or any day from now this is probably the same feeling that Cobra had, assuming that Puff was just gonna show up one day.
Yeah.
And I honestly,
like,
hand to God,
literally.
think that Cobra's just gonna show up one day and he's gonna be like, "What's up, you Toobz?
Yeah, what's up,
I got
Toobz?
another
Cobra.
drink combo for you." I
Cobra, what
can't.
were you doing? Where were you?
Yeah, like
I was
none
just
of this.
taking a nap. I don't know.
Yeah, but are you ready to go?
Yeah,
Ready?
I'm
Right,
down.
I'll skip the
I'm
2
down.
minutes of prep time.
Hmm.
Okay, we're gonna skip right into it. Lower the music, and we're gonna unmute the tab too.
Hello and welcome to
it
Josh's
is
celebration of
pre-recorded.
life. I'm really glad you could make it.
Hey, look,
I
and you
need
can
to
see
clarify
Josh
a
right
few
back
things
here.
before we start here.
Look,
So,
there he is.
I have
Yeah,
no idea
there's Sean.
how to do live stuff or anything on YouTube, so I pre-recorded all of this and uploaded it because I didn't know how to do it live. Also, I knew there was no way in the world I could get through this live, so I just felt it was best to record it, which was good. because
Sean made
most
it.
things took multiple takes. Because
I wonder if he edited
of
any of
crying,
this.
obviously. So
I have to assume he probably did some editing.
we got together and we made this earlier, and then
I think
went
so,
ahead
because
and
like you were
posted it
saying
live
that
now. It hasn't been easy waiting a full month to do
I don't know,
Josh's
like you were
celebration
saying,
of
he probably
life,
wouldn't be able to get through this with like
but we felt
without breaking
it was
down.
Yeah.
best to do it on either a solstice or an equinox
It's a cute
because
shirt. Yeah,
of
he has a
Josh's
cute shirt going
beliefs,
on.
and
Look
we
at that.
thought that would be the best time to do it. And so equinox wasn't that far away, so we decided to go ahead and wait. The equinox isn't until Monday at 12:19 p.m., I believe, for the full equinox, but we're within the 24-hour period, so I thought that would still work, and we wanted to do it. We didn't think it'd be good to do it on a Monday during a work day in the middle of the day, so for people to be able to watch. So that's why we waited, and I'm glad we did because it's a day of passage, and it fits well with his beliefs and some of my beliefs as well too. So I think it'll be a great day for him to pass on to the next world. Thanks for joining us. I need to clarify a couple more things. First, I didn't want to
With the
discuss this,
clarification.
but I feel it's
Oh, no.
necessary.
No. Is he actually going to talk about the trolls?
No.
Ah, damn it.
No.
I hate this. Now, here's the
Don't
thing.
do it.
I'm in of a firm belief that there's a certain element of trolls. I truly do blame the Reddits for effectively allowing like nonstop deliveries of alcohol to Josh's place.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that did contribute quite a bit to his situation. Now, he would have found a way to drink regardless, all right?
Yeah.
But it's...
Yeah, if you tipped him $5 or you tipped him like a 6-pack, like either or.
It would have...
If he wants to, he would go do it.
Yeah, exactly. He would have went and done it. But I get his frustration, but this isn't 100% the troll's fault. I don't...
No.
My mom
Okay.
made the comment to me. She said, this is a really odd way to find out about my grandson the week after he died with the flood of love and support that was coming across all of the social media platforms. And I felt I needed to let my family and friends know, that I tried very, very hard to separate Josh's family world from his online world. And Josh worked with me on that as well because of the just insane amount of hate and ugliness that is in the online world.
Yeah, that is about the
Quite a few years ago, they set
unfortunately.
up a subreddit page which was dedicated to
Now, he is saying it is the
trolling
subreddit.
Josh. And it was
Yeah, the
gross.
Reddit
And
is
the things
awful.
that went up on that
They-
page were
the Reddit
disgusting.
Yeah,
sucks.
They were horrible.
Yeah.
They were mean. And by the end of it, before they finally took the page down, there were 44,000 subscribers to that page.
Jeez,
And I saw this stuff, and it was so gross, and it was so heartbreaking, and it was so hard to look at. And around 8 years ago, somebody in that online world decided that I was an absolute piece of shit, horrible father. And
dude,
so they started making these posts, made up
We
posts about me and what a
just
piece of shit
celebrate
father
Josh.
I was.
please.
And for some reason, as in the online world things do, that took off. And because that took off, the internet also became filled with just really, really horrible, disgusting things about me. And I've had to sit down with all of my bosses and have talks with them and let them know, hey, this is out there, just so you know. I have no control over it, so there's nothing I can do about it. But it's there. I have to let my clients know. I have to let my theater friends know that this stuff is out there. You can't tag my name on anything, or it just gets attacked with vile, vile, vile comments. Again, I'm not sure where that narrative came from. Everybody, all of my family and friends who are close to our family know how involved I have always been in Josh's life and how I am a good father, and I've always been a good father to Josh. Not a perfect father by
Wonder
any
if he
means,
takes
but a
a
good
shot at
father.
this.
And along with some of that ickiness, I mean,
I
it was so
hope so,
gross.
'cause
They
so far,
literally made...
I don't know how you feel
They
about
used
it.
Photoshop and
It's
AI
bummer
to create
right now.
pornographic images of
Yeah.
Josh and I having sex
Dude,
together.
he's supposed
What are
to
we
be
doing?
celebrating.
What are we doing?
So my friends, when my friends would learn about Josh and they say, "Oh, what's his channel?" I'll look him up. I would say, "Do not look him up. Please, for the love of God, do not go searching the internet for Josh," because I didn't want them seeing this stuff. I'm not ashamed of Josh. I'm not ashamed of his YouTube channel. There were certainly some videos he's made over time that shouldn't have been made, and we had long talks about that. But it wasn't that. And I didn't want my family and my friends seeing all of that gross stuff to start it. And I also didn't want my family and friends involved in that online world because I didn't want them to become targets the way I had become a target. And so it was to protect them. And Josh was very helpful in that, to make sure that we kept our family as separate as we could so that they didn't become targets. Because it's gross. Anybody who was nice to Josh became a target. I know several people in the online world who've had to change their phone numbers and change their emails because they were harassed so much just for being nice to Josh. Businesses have had to block because they were just random people that Josh mentioned from his past would have to change their phone numbers and emails because they got so much attacks.
Yeah, dude, this isn't.
I personally received tons and tons of messages every single day,
like a celebration of Josh,
on my phone, through Messenger, texting, voicemails, emails through 2 accounts.
Not my fault.
Just nonstop hate and attack. And so I felt it very important to try to protect my family from that.
I do not enjoy this.
Josh's true fans,
okay, we're talking about the fans.
I didn't know you were out there. I didn't know that there were so many of you. All I ever sadly got to see in that world was the ugliness. So I fought it a lot. And after Josh died, the flood of love and support that came in was crazy. And it was also
oh man, okay,
it was also very helpful.
I am gonna pause this just for a quick
second, that's good.
It is gonna get a little rough, and I get it. Like, he is thankful for the people that legitimately like him, and to be fair, minus the people that were effectively speedrunning his death by sending him drinks, I think there were a lot of people that legitimately did just find his stuff interesting, in a morbid way, in a very stupid way. They didn't want to see him die. They wanted to see him just do better. Maybe not have so many pinwheel food hacks and the like. I'm glad that he's at least acknowledging there were supporters, but I kind of wish he just didn't give any credence to the people who didn't like him. This was not needed at all.
That first, like, that 6 minutes or whatever was just kind of like, oh, you can't put my name in and it's looking at family stuff, and my family doesn't need to know about what Josh does.
It's one of those things that Cobra kind of made them part of the content too.
Yeah.
So. I mean, I don't know. The interview, the second interview that Clint has done, really made me think a lot deeper about how I view Clint as a father. Which even then he kind of acknowledged in that people would take a certain way, but I think he really tried at a certain point, but he kind of stopped and he kind of just let God take the wheels. And I feel like that's how we've been ever since. It's just God take the wheels.
I've tried all I can. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah,
like hands up in the air, just. Yeah.
Vikes is right though. This is honestly, this is supposed to be a celebration.
See that, and to know that his entire online world wasn't just gross, it wasn't just ugliness, it wasn't just meanness, that there were actually good people there. So thank you to all of you that did the tributes, all of you that sent me personal messages. Believe it or not, I actually did read them. I normally don't. Anything I get from that world is just deleted and blocked immediately. It has been for years because it's always so ugly. But this time I did read them, so thank you for the time you took to send me those messages and send comfort, and let me know that Josh was loved. And that meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to my family. I'm sorry I won't accept your friend request on Facebook. I know better. There's a line there. I don't know how many of you are real when you start sending me friend requests. So I definitely won't go there, but I do want you to know that I did read your messages and I did appreciate them. So anyways, to all of you in that world, you're now gonna get to see Josh's family life for the first time.
Oh, wow. Wait, what?
You're going to get to see how we viewed Josh, and you get to see how we interacted with Josh, and you get to see for the first time how much he was in our lives. Josh and I didn't share any of this on his page. I made sure I
yeah, it's true, right? He never really tried to.
This stuff doesn't go on his page
get Cobra
because
clean.
I didn't want my family to become more targets than they already were.
I don't know.
I personally have had many death threats. I've had roadkill placed on my front porch in the morning. Somebody loosened all the lug nuts on my vehicle one day, and my tires were just going like this.
With therapy and whatnot.
It's not pretty. So please, to my family and friends, please forgive me for not wanting you to be involved in that. But I certainly think you can all understand why. To the fans of Josh, I think you're going to really enjoy getting to see this side of Josh's life that you've never seen before. To the Josh's tormentors, I sincerely hope.
Please just ignore
that
him.
You will see this, and for the first time in your life, realize that Josh was a human being. Josh had a family. He was a son and a grandson and a great-grandson, and he was a nephew, and he was a cousin, and he was loved, and he was a human being. And all of these LOL cows that you like to call them, that you go after on YouTube nonstop all day, these are people, and they're people with families. And if Josh's life could mean anything, and the only reason I did decide to break down this wall and share this with the online world, and I'm still not sure I'm doing the right thing here, because I know what you guys are going to do with this material, and I know how gross you're going to make it.
Dude, they don't make it. What are you doing?
Realize that this is a person. And I hope for the first time maybe you get to see Josh as a human being and not a plaything, not your toy. And I hope maybe that you can take that and apply it to some of the other people that you attack every day, and hopefully maybe see them in a little different light as well. So again,
I'm still gonna laugh at DSP.
I didn't want to go into this, but I felt it was
do.
very necessary. So now we're going to move on to Josh's celebration. Normally we would do a slideshow full of images and music. We can't do music, of course, because it's YouTube, so it'd all be copyrighted and would be taken down. So I decided to narrate Josh's video and just tell stories and talk about who Josh was and the different phases of his life and who he was as a person and who he was to us. And our family will share a couple of their stories.
He doesn't really know what copy.
So that's what's going to happen.
Dude, you could have played
next, and then,
wait a minute.
We're going to start out with Josh's youngest sister is going to read a beautiful poem written by a fan, Emma Jane Flora.
But I mean, it doesn't have to be blaring, just, background.
This poem really touched me. So thank you for this poem. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed Josh's celebration of life.
For King Cobra JFS, a tribute.
I will say
by
this image
Emma Jane Flora, a fellow outsider
fuck.
who saw the spark.
Mm-hmm.
I found you in the silence of lockdown nights, a voice rough with gravel, singing Aussie and flickering
you couldn't
light.
make a that's the album cover
but
right
realer
there.
than most, a gothic soul, a wand maker, Casper's ghost. You rode your bike through town like a spell on wheels.
Like a cover album,
no script, no mask,
over his songs
just truth
or whatever.
that heals. And something stirred in me, quiet but loud. A sense that being different could still make you proud. We were born in the same year, but you lived without fear, while I wore a mask to be liked. You wore leather and eyeliner like armor in the fight. They laughed at you, but I never did, because behind your pain I saw the kid who was bullied too young and treated without care, just like me, gasping for breath in stale, heavy air. You were raw, you were broken, you were brave. And though the world didn't know how to behave, you stayed you. With your tactical soap and steel resolve, a reminder that I didn't need to dissolve.
She was going to say
thank you,
steel
Josh,
reserve.
for being the goth wizard of truth, for holding the line since our youth. You'll never know how much it meant, but your impact was real. Your time was well spent.
Oh, jeez.
I just wish I could say this while you were still near, that you helped me come back to myself crystal clear. So wherever you ride now, through mist, through stars, know that you left behind more than battle scars.
Yeah, this
Rest
is a
easy,
weird
King. Your magic lives
segment.
on in the songs we
if
sing.
It's from his
Stay
sister.
strong, stay weird, and never stop being unapologetically you, even in death.
I feel like he could have
We'll
needed
meet at
this.
Cobra's Cantina and we'll have a
all
drink
this.
with Ozzy. That's what's up.
I used this photo
That's
in
what's
Josh's
up.
obituary, and I just wanted to thank the person who took it. I don't know where it came from. It was something Josh
was,
sent me via text many years ago.
one of his
but I
first,
just love this photograph of Josh.
first
And
documentaries.
so I put it in software and did the dispersion brush and made it like it is.
I
But I
couldn't
just
tell
love
you.
this photo.
I never
and
was that deep.
wanted to
But
thank whoever took it.
this,
Yeah, this
this is good though.
whole video is gonna be weird.
This is a nice phone to have, though.
I really wanted to open this video with Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train, the opening of that song, because that was the ringtone I used for Josh. And every time it would
I don't know how long.
blare out of
I'm
my
assuming
phone,
this
I'd
is an hour.
yell, "It's my boy!"
Making a cup of the Queen's
and then
finest.
I'd, of course, proceed to let it ring for a while just so I could listen to that epic guitar riff in the
40%
beginning.
Viking?
But
Jesus
sadly,
Christ.
that's copyrighted, so we can't use any music in the video. Ozzy was the first concert I took Josh to, and Josh just fell in love with Ozzy and fell in love with his music and became an instant
That's
fan.
why he's an Ozzy
and then, of course,
fan.
over the years, just continued to follow Ozzy and love Ozzy
You know,
and be
this is
obsessed with
just-
Ozzy.
Okay,
as everybody
I'm
knows.
pausing. I'm pausing.
When Josh was
This is just another way of him like liking whatever his father liked, or at least wanting to connect with his father. If that's the reason why he fell in love with Ozzy, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that made Josh really, really happy, and what also made Clint pretty happy, was when Josh got into doing the woodworking and doing the lathe. And he even admitted that it was something that was really, really positive, a great influence in his life. I'm kind of wondering why he didn't, I guess, do more with his son after he had grown up.
Oh, exactly. Like, there's, well, even too with, like with my, well, yeah, with my dad, there's, whenever I go, like, you know, doing oil changes or shit like that, like he always comes out and, like, says, like, just hangs out and watches what I'm doing and shit like that, like, make sure I'm doing something right.
But it's an interest that you get from your family.
Yeah,
and it's one of those things that
it's shared.
I feel like it probably could have helped him a lot more. Apparently, he got his love from his cars from his grandpa, according to Chad.
born, it was without a doubt the happiest day of my life. I remember being in the delivery
feel
room
like he
and
could have
seeing him
done
be
more of
born
that.
and then holding him for the first time and realizing
baby pop.
for the first time in my life what true unconditional love really was.
Shut up, Josie.
And I couldn't wait to be a dad, and I was so excited. And then Josh had complications, so he ended up in the hospital for a little over a week. And I know it was just a super scary time for us. And that as a parent, you really realize, again, what true love really, really is. For a few years during Josh's toddler life, it was just Josh and I, and we did everything together. We were inseparable, and we were the dynamic duo, and we used to spend all day
look at baby
watching
Josh.
Disney movies, and then we go to the gymnastics club. I ran gymnastics clubs
Oh,
at the
look at that.
time,
I didn't know you did
and we just
gymnastics.
hang out all day with the kids in the gymnastics clubs, and we go home and hang out at night.
That
and
seems
it was
like part of
just,
the course
the
with
two of
Clint,
us
though.
until
The
we
Clint
met
thing.
Tanis. And Tanis changed our lives forever. Became Josh's mom, also brought Josh's grandparents and great-grandparents and some more aunts and some more uncles and a lot more cousins, and just made our family a lot bigger and a lot more complete. From the time Josh was little, he was always very unique and different, and we knew at a very young age that he was special needs and was going to need some extra help. And later in life, found out that he was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, a form of autism. And part of that syndrome, kids with that tend to obsess over things. And if you've ever watched Josh's videos or met Josh or know Josh at all, you know that he had his obsessions, and they were limited. And the common thing with kids with Asperger's is they only know a certain thing, so that's all they talk about. And with Josh, it was Big Ben, clock towers, and bell towers. And
that was really quick.
Smoking. He was obsessed with smoking pipes, obsessed with smoking cigarettes.
Pretty recent picture. Oh, okay.
He was also obsessed with shotguns, obsessed with Model Ts. He was obsessed with king cobras and snakes, and obsessed with magic and the idea of conjuring thunderstorms, and also obsessed with the movie Tombstone. And Josh and I used to run the whole Doc Holliday sketches all the time. Doc Holliday and Ringo, would do that sketch a lot, and Josh loved to quote that movie as well. So as I look back on Josh's life, when he was older, and I started wondering where these obsessions came from, and it all became very clear. As I said, Josh and I used to watch Disney movies all day long, and Big Ben and smoking pipes and smoking cigarettes was all the cartoon of 101 Dalmatians, which was one of his favorites. We used to watch it over and over again. Then we also watched The Fox and the Hound a lot, and The Fox and the Hound.
Look at that. Model T.
And also the Model T cars.
Can we get some Hail Satan in chat,
of course,
please?
Tombstone.
Some 666 or Hail Satan, please.
The Cobras came from
much
Aladdin,
appreciated.
And his obsession with King Cobra's Jafar, and Jafar had a Cobra staff, and he used that staff to create magic and conjure thunderstorms and become this King Cobra snake who was all powerful. And that's where that came from. So all of Josh's obsessions later in life actually started when he was 3-4 years old and watching Disney movies.
It's like one of his shirt
designs. I think that really sums up Josh as a person because of his obsessions and his inability to really do other things.
That image looks so fucking metal.
Those handful of things he was obsessed about were really all he was capable of talking about, at least for a prolonged period of time. So I had no idea at the time that those Disney movies would play such an integral part of Josh's entire life. So as Josh continues to grow, I remember the first time he discovered his own religion. So the word Cobraverse is often used in Josh's online world. That's what they call the people who are involved in this world. But it's actually a term that Josh used when he was young, way before any of the YouTube even started. He wrote a story and he shared it with me, and it was this amazing story, and it was about the Cobraverse. And in the Cobraverse, Cobraton was a god, and Cobraton was, of course, a Cobra, a King Cobra god, and he and his wife created the world and the universe, and they had a son, and they named the son King Cobra. And King Cobra was
nowadays there's a lot
magic,
of things
and he could control the weather, and that's who he was. And it was this great story. And I said, Josh, this is incredible. And he was pretty young when he wrote it. I think 6th grade maybe. And so I was like, Josh, this is amazing. This is a great story. Are you going to keep writing? And he says, it's not a story, it's true. I said, well, hold on there, buddy. This is not true. This is something you're writing. And he said, no, but it's true. This is a true story. And this is my religion. And I said, well, Josh,
exactly.
You
the lazy eye was
invent your own religion. And he said, why not? Jesus did. And that's the way Josh's mind worked. And I'm like, okay, so what about some theological ideas here? What happens when we die? And I started talking about different theology questions with him, and he said, I haven't figured that out yet. I said, okay, so you recognize that you're figuring it out as you go, right? Yep. And then you're writing down your ideas, correct? Yep. So then, therefore, it is not real. It's made up because it's coming out of your mind. Nope. It's real.
There we go.
He was 100% convinced that it was real.
When he was just starting
Cobra, and he was King Cobra, and he had these powers. And I said, Josh, and he fully believed he can control the weather. And I said, Josh, you can't control the weather, buddy. And I'll never forget the first time we were in North Dakota, and he goes out in the yard, and he's standing there with his hands up in the air to the sky, and he's conjuring his first thunderstorm. And he came back in, and it's just a beautiful day. And I said, well, and he goes, I just conjured a thunderstorm. I said, all right. And it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, we had a thunderstorm, and Josh came in. He said, see, I told you. And that's kind of how Josh's magic worked, and his thunderstorm conjuring worked. Yeah. And he still does it to this day, or he did. before he died. He would conjure thunderstorms, and whenever it would happen, he would take the credit for that.
Have fun, Captain.
And then stoplights, he could control stoplights as well. And we'd pull up at a stoplight, and he'd pull out his wand, and he'd look all serious at it, and he'd point his wand at it. And if he didn't change, he'd start shaking his wand. If it didn't change, he'd shake it a little harder.
He's got the stuzzy down there.
When it finally changed, he would nod with pure satisfaction and put his wand back in his pocket. And I'd sometimes tease him about it and say, Josh, you realize that you could just watch the other light, right? And see when it's going to change, and then your timing would be perfect.
No airbrush.
Shut up, dude. I changed that light. I can control that light. I did that. I said, all right, buddy. So Josh, along with that, Josh kind of lived in his own world. He daydreamed all the time. And he had audio hallucinations quite a bit. He would hear people say things that they didn't say, which started a lot of conversations with him and I, because we'd be together and we'd walk into a store and he'd get very upset. And
it has like a coat hanger thing just
that lady just said something horrible. And he'd make up something that she said to him.
1930s worker, let's go.
And she didn't say that. Yes, she did.
Holy shit.
So in his mind, those hallucinations were very real. And he'd hear it all the time. And there's usually people being mean to him. Once in a while, there was good things. I remember one day he said...
It makes sense that Clint was one who did
his bike. Josh's bike. Oh my gosh, he loved that bike.
Oh,
and that
shit.
was the coolest bike in the world. And he would sit on that bike on a street corner downtown.
Didn't he sell this off originally or on it off?
And one time he says,
it was like
these hot goth girls drove by.
And I heard the one girl say to the other girl, wow, check out that.
By the time I got introduced to it, he didn't ride his bike or anything.
So cool.
There's just like the animations and stuff like that had him riding around town and shit.
Right, but he even did the thing. He even told the story. Look at this. Listen.
And he would sit on that bike on a street corner downtown and daydream and smoke a pipe. And one time he says, yeah, these two hot goth girls drove by.
And I heard the one girl say to the other girl, wow, check out that sexy hot goth guy riding that really kick-ass bike. That guy's so cool.
And again, these were very real things to Josh, and they were very real in his head. And it was this daydreaming was actually the reason he couldn't get a driver's license, because he would just drift off, and he would go into kind of another world. It was very scary with him just out on his bike, to be honest with you. And because he would often just start daydreaming. And he had driver's ed, and the driver's ed teacher said he drove fine, but whenever they'd stop at a stoplight or a stop sign, he would just kind of disappear into another world, and sometimes it would take a while for him to come back out to reality. So that was one of the reasons that he didn't drive. along with the auditory hallucinations and the daydreaming, Josh would also have just spectacular conversations with himself. And he'd quite often get pretty animated.
Well,
and
it's
there'd be several times we'd be riding
it.
around in the car, and he'd be quiet, and he'd start having a conversation with himself, and he'd be getting louder and louder and more animated. And I'd finally stop, and I'd say, "Hey, Josh," and he had completely forgotten I was there, completely forgotten where he was, and he'd just get stiff as a board. And then he'd kind of look at me out of the corner of his eye like, what was I doing?
We'll just hydrate with beer.
Who are you talking to?
Here's hydration.
And he'd say, myself. And I'd say, are you having a good conversation?
There's Sean.
Yeah. So
no, that's when
brand new Sean.
No, that's not brand new Sean.
Made for some.
So Sean had went back for repairs. And there was like a 6-month period. It felt like it was a really long time. But there was a long period of time that Sean was just MIA. And then we found out later that he went in for repairs. It was nuts. Man.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. After everything the last few weeks, I needed to hear this. I'm glad Clint is able to share these things with us. Yeah, I'm glad with it. For now that we moved past the troll segment, listening to all these little stories and stuff and seeing this, I'm actually kind of glad. I kind of wish he just did this and he didn't address the trolls at all. It's just better that way, honestly.
Exactly. That first 6 minutes gonna get cut.
Yeah.
Dialogue with Josh. With Asperger's, Josh also needed the same routine. He needed the same routine every single day, all the time, which is one of the reasons traveling was so hard on Josh, because he had to have his routine interrupted, and he never did very well with that. If you look at Josh's glasses and these old pictures of him when he was little, Josh, as an adult, picked out almost the exact same pair of glasses, and I didn't understand it when we were getting the glasses, but he just had to have that exact pair. They didn't fit him real well, but he didn't care. It's got to be this pair. It's got to be this pair. And I didn't understand why he was just so insistent on this pair of glasses until I got home.
Like, unless he
and I
means
saw
like the bar frame on the top or whatever.
I think it's the
above
bar
my dresser, and when I saw that,
it fell out
of fashion.
the exact same pair of glasses he had when he was 2.
That's like
alone
early,
really just
early 2000s still. Like I remember my grandpa wearing glasses.
Obsessions.
You can go back into the 90s.
I always found
80s,
very interesting. From the time he was 2, he's at the age of 34, he still had.
I think they suited him.
I think so.
Part of Josh's life was sadly his harassment. I don't know why, but for some reason, people just flocked to him to harass him. Even as an adult, and he made himself kind of scary looking, and I think he did that as a defense mechanism, hoping that people would leave him alone. But he was also a big guy. Whenever we got in public,
I don't think that Cobra purposely made himself look scary. I think he looked scary because of the way in which he presented himself, because he didn't take care of himself with hygiene, like basic hygiene of washing himself, brushing his teeth, and like taking proper care of his hair. This isn't like, well, he did it as a defense. Dude, he just looked like it.
Yeah.
This is just what it was.
He's supposed to be a goth bad boy. Like, that's his whole character. Well, not character, but that's his whole shtick. He's supposed to be the bad boy.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the bad boy. He definitely did portray that.
Look, not even exaggerating. We were at a grocery store and little kids would harass him. They'd just walk up to him and start teasing him. It was so strange. And everywhere we went, this happened. And
Why
it
is
was
he
that way
this?
his whole life. From the time he was a small child. When he was in 5th grade, the harassment became so bad that his teacher asked me to come in and talk to the class to explain to them that Josh was a little different and who he was, and try to get them to be nice to him. The bus driver, our driveway was the bus stop for a while there, and the bus driver stopped and got out of the bus and he said, "These kids will not leave him alone." And it started with 1 kid, and then pretty soon it was 3 kids, and now literally there's like 10, 15 kids on that bus who just harass him the entire bus trip. And he said, "I can't control it because I'm trying to ride the bus, but I wanted to make you aware."
fair enough, Chuck.
And I actually had to go to the principal and tell the principal either he was going to ride that bus or I was, because this was going to stop. And the principal finally rode the bus and got things under control. But the reason I shared that story is because that was Josh's life. It was just so horrible, and it was all the time. It just never ended. As an adult, we were one of the last times we flew with Josh. We were at the airport, which was always very stressful for Josh anyway. And he comes out of the bathroom, and there's a guy talking to him. And I thought it must have been a fan or somebody that recognized him, so I gave him space. And then as I walked up toward the end, I realized the guy was being a jerk. And when I walked up, he walked off. And I asked Josh what that was about. And apparently the guy just randomly started attacking Josh about what he was wearing. Just harassing him and being extremely rude about the clothes he had on. And it's just, as a parent, to watch your child go through that all day, every day of his life and you can't stop it and you can't control it, is absolutely heartbreaking. You never feel so alone and so helpless in that situation. The number of times I had to go to a park and get on a group of kids and get Josh's bike back because they stole his bike from him. Things like that. It was just so frustrating.
Yeah,
Josh bounded into my life when he was 4 years old.
I
met him and Clint, and we bonded.
Yeah. His biological
Josh
mother
especially
had
bonded to my dog, Ellen.
Mental problems.
A big black Labrador.
Oh, okay,
and
that's
he told
that
Clint that Clint could keep me as long as he could keep Ellen. And it was the beginning for us. And what I want to talk about with Josh, that there are 2 things that I don't know if everybody knows about him that I want to emphasize, and that is how amazing Josh was with animals, and how much he loved them and how they loved him. I've never met an animal that didn't calm when Josh was near and didn't respond to him or want to meet him. And I never met an animal that he didn't want to care for. Also, Josh's kindness.
Mrs. Green, praying
that
mantis
gets
didn't get
lost
taken care of.
sometimes. And Josh
Got
was a
dipped in glue.
fundamentally kind person at heart. And you can especially see that in his relationships with his extended family. For animals, it started
I think he
with
did try to treat
Big
dogs
Dog,
pretty
Big Black
well,
Labrador,
though.
Ellen.
Yeah.
And then we had another Labrador named
Yeah,
Chocolate.
BBL, I guess,
that
is
we got
Big Black Lab.
not too long after.
What an acronym to
we
use.
got together, and Josh
But
loved
I
them.
suppose.
He enjoyed riding horses and getting to see cats at my
I feel like
parents' house.
therapy
because,
horse riding is
we didn't have
a
horses
good
or
idea
cats
for
for
him.
us, but they had them.
That probably helped
and
a lot.
he was natural. Again, he would take care of spiders. For a while, when we were in North Dakota, he had an entire family of
he's from
spiders
Battleship.
that he took care of, and we were not allowed to do anything that would harm the spiders. He one time
had a
was
parakeet.
bitten by a squirrel that had been hit by a car, and Josh tried to rescue it. It had been run over, and he tried to pick it up, and then the poor thing bit Josh, and Josh did not want us to get mad at that squirrel because it wasn't the squirrel's
man.
fault.
I hate this because I don't want to use this as no, this isn't for real. But I mean, there was that one story that he did kind of smash a bird under his bike tire, if I'm not mistaken. Because it was a baby bird and couldn't help it, so... I don't think we need to hear that, but he probably didn't know how to present that story, and I feel like he shouldn't have presented that story, but that was a story that we did get told.
I didn't know that. Like, either or story, really.
Yeah, you can take that for what it is, unfortunately.
Aqua,
Two of
hello.
other animals that Josh got when we were in North Dakota, a dog named Obi, and then another dog named Chance. And Chance and Josh had a special bond. Chance we adopted from the Humane Society, and Chance was kind of a misfit. We loved him, but he was definitely very unique, and Josh had this bond with Chance. In fact, when Chance got injured, Josh sat with me. This was several years later. He sat with me and Chance in the vet's office, and he held Chance's paw as Chance passed because he wasn't going to let Chance be alone. And then later, he put a Cobra
I think she's reading off
sticker
cards,
on,
but I mean,
Chance's ashes.
if you're not used to speaking, it's probably better to organize
a
it
story with
cards.
Obi that sticks out to me.
It
Josh
wouldn't
came
surprise me
running
that much.
inside one day and told me that Obi had begun to mature. He was really coming of age, and I wasn't quite sure what to
TJ,
think about
it's
this.
still
So
not
I
real
went
to
out
me.
to check on Obi.
I truly
It
believe
turns
he's just
out
gonna
Obi was stung by
show
a
up
bee,
tomorrow and just do a
his
food
face and
hack.
head were about twice
It
their
doesn't
normal
feel real.
size.
It's like Puff running
Josh
away.
was concerned about that. Another animal story I wanted to share. We had a neighbor in California who had a pretty aggressive dog, more aggressive than I'd ever encountered before, except with Josh.
Oh yes, we know it's right there.
You could walk by the
A blue
house
one and a white
and
one.
the dog would go crazy until they saw Josh, and then it would just calm. If there is such thing as an animal whisperer for all animals, that was Josh. Josh, of course, loved snakes. Some of the best pictures I ever got of Josh were when he got to have a boa constrictor. He got to hold them.
Oh yeah,
It meant a lot to
that was
him.
a class or
And
probably like at a little
he enjoyed
event.
that. He loved reptiles.
School project
he liked going
or
to
like a
visit
school
reptile
thing
gardens.
or going to a museum
He
or not
loved
about
Puff,
like a
his bearded
reptile
dragon,
exhibit.
and was so proud of Puff.
Puff.
And
I
when
wish we
Puff
could bring
escaped.
Puff.
It was devastating for Josh. And Puff escaped for a very Josh reason. Josh wanted him to have fresh air. Yeah, no, Puff took advantage.
That's not 100% true. That was him having to go outside to smoke, and Puff was riding on his shoulder, like he would always make Puff do. That's the real reality of where Puff was and why Puff was even in that situation in the first place. This wasn't a Puff needed fresh air.
No. Like,
oh man.
Like if it was like, you know, if he had the window open and then like something like that, okay, I guess me, but like animals don't usually need.
It's not. This is like a. This is a Cobra telling him the story and then how she interprets it. I was just going out. I was giving him fresh air. You know how much he loves fresh air, and you know it just happened. Dude, you were going out to smoke because you're not allowed to smoke inside the apartment. That's what it was. Wasn't it in the winter when Puff went missing? It was right around the start of winter.
It was. It was like the start. Like it was around like Halloween. Maybe.
No, it's not a Cobra stock. But yeah, it was right around the start of winter. I feel like it was like around November, and then people were like, "Toobz, it's winter, man. He's not gonna survive this." But you know.
Of that.
No, he's just hibernating.
When it comes to Josh's kindness, you see this in stories of him with animals, also with his grandparents and great-grandparents. Josh was lucky in that all of his grandparents and all but one of his great-grandparents were around for most of his life. And he loved to talk to them. You know, sometimes kids have to, you know, parents push the kids to talk to grandparents, but Josh legitimately enjoyed talking to his grandparents and his great-grandparents and playing games and visiting them. We had wonderful summers sometimes.
There were 10,000 people watching
family
his
members and
actual
going swimming and having a barbecue and you really saw his kindness.
I mean, a lot of people
he could volunteer sometimes at a senior center, and people responded to him because of that. The last material gift Josh gave me also shows his
I was going to say too about that. Like with Cobra, he's literally the like what YouTube used to be like back in the early 2000s. And
the raw
like
and
even
unfiltered.
Yeah, he's just the guy. That's all it was he just shows whatever bullshit he's doing and like show it with the world. Like what Shroom does with like the What the Wednesday, like that's why that's such a fun idea. It's like a fun show because it's just people being people on the internet.
It doesn't get realer than Cobra.
Yeah,
Which I get it. People would definitely make fun of him, but it is true though. Something about him, like I can't say that for DSP. You could have maybe said that for DSP maybe 15 years ago, but this is truly the rawest of raw content. You can't. This is unfiltered content. And that's kind of what makes it enjoyable in a way. Yeah, Cobra did
exactly. Yeah, it's not. Nobody told him, no, maybe you shouldn't do this. And it's like, well, but I'm the one who's doing it, so whatever, I guess.
That ODD helped out.
And his thoughtfulness. He went to great lengths to get me a signed picture of Princess Leia, signed by Carrie Fisher herself, and had it framed. It's up in our house, and it always will be. It was so kind of him to do that. I love you, Josh.
I'll never forget when Josh decided to go goth. He said, "I'm goth." And I said, "Josh, you're not goth, man." He goes, I'm goth. You can't tell me what I am. And I said, "Josh, buddy, you're like happy all the time, and you're always smiling, and you love to make people laugh." One of Josh's biggest traits was comedy. Josh just loved to make people laugh. And he would do it all the
look at
time.
that Red Hard
From the
shirt.
time
Let's
he's very
fucking go.
little, bubblegum
Yeah,
wrapper
buddy.
jokes. You know, we get him books sometimes for birthdays and that, so that he could, for his silly dad type jokes. And we always tease Josh as he got older. I'd always say, Josh, there's jokes, and then there's dad jokes, and then there's Josh jokes. And Josh would always laugh, and he loved that one. And I said, so Josh, you're always making people laugh. That's like, you're like the opposite of goth, buddy. He goes, nope, I'm goth. And I said, all right, man, you're goth. So then everything went black, and all of his clothes had to become black at that point. But his favorite color, as a small child, his favorite
Green.
color was actually pink.
No
When
way.
he was a little boy and was in gymnastics and coming to the gym with me all the time.
Tough
We
guys
had
wear pink, too.
our gym shirts.
He would have
and
been
he would
bullied
always get the pink ones. He
relentlessly
loved the
for
pink.
pink.
But then as he
Yeah,
got older, I
if you-
think, he of course got
Yeah, if
teased
you
for
wore
that
pink to
because he was a
school.
boy and liked
Yeah.
pink. So then he
And
went
the
to
thing
green.
is, pink is
And so then
acceptable now.
everything had to be green.
It's kind of whatever.
And
Yeah.
those of you who know Josh, if you've
back
ever
in the
been
day,
to his
though,
place,
it's
he
like-
paints everything green.
Yep.
If it wasn't green and black to begin with, it got painted green and black. And it was just one of his obsessions, and everything had to be that way. And then there's Josh's drink combos and food hacks. So Josh
Oh,
has
man.
been doing
Cheers
drink
to that.
combos for as
Let's
long
go,
as I
buddy.
can remember. We've got pictures of him very small with a drink in his hand that looks like nothing that's on the table to drink, because he always found other things to put in his drink. From the time he was just tiny, whenever he'd pour a drink of something, he'd look for something else to put in it. And I know one of my mom's favorite and worst memories was when Josh decided to spruce up her coffee a little bit. And he was looking for something to add to the coffee to make it taste better and do a drink combo. And the only thing close by was dish soap. And so he put dish soap in my mom's coffee. She was didn't enjoy that cup of coffee very much. And the food hacks as well. He was constantly creating food hacks, and they were so awful. The things he would put together and eat, and then sit there and eat them, it was so
can't tell if
gross.
that's yogurt
And I always
or-
tried to get him to do an entire YouTube channel.
Okay.
And I always told him, Josh, you could be rich.
I hate that he's showing
an
this
entire
fucking
YouTube
burrito because
channel
you
of
know
nothing
that's
but
the fucking bug burrito. Well, actually, no, that's not the bug burrito. Never
Yeah,
mind.
no, that's the after. Yeah, that's
Because we're in the
that's
new
later
place.
on.
We did a different burrito. The burrito arcs were horrific, though. I hated the bug burritos. I hated everything burritos. Those things sucked.
That was bad.
Food
Fuck
hacks,
me.
and no swearing, no smoking, no drinking, and just keep it clean and monetize it, and people will watch that because it's hard to look away as he makes these gross things and then eats them very grossly. And they're all over his hands, all over his face, and he's slurping. I've never met a human being who could slurp food the way Josh did. And it was
like garlic
his signature
Ew.
thing. But no, I'm good, Dad. I said, but Josh, you could literally make some money off YouTube. A lot of people think that
Covenant
Josh
bomb
made a lot of
burrito?
money
Yeah.
on YouTube because he had so many followers.
What's wrong with him?
And I said, they'd be one
What
way to
is-
do it. And then, of course, his one business could have been just absolutely
Oh, look
huge.
at that.
It was successful on
They're the
Josh's level
wands.
for sure, but he had over 100,000 people that wanted wands, but he's always talking about winning the lottery. He's going to win the lottery and build that clock tower dream house. And I kept telling him, Josh, you've already won the lottery because you
by
built
chance know
this
what
thing on YouTube.
the Cobra
over
one
years and
that was
years of
on
work.
eBay? Do you
And
know
so
how
now
much
just
it
make
went
wands
for?
and sell it to all those
I don't
people,
know how much it
and
went for.
You don't need to win a lottery.
I can't
You just
imagine.
live in
This
your
year
house.
was
Of course, he'd always give
keeping
his
tracks
standard
on it. It
response.
was up
I'm
to like
good, Dad.
1,500
I'm good,
at
Dad.
like the last
But
time
Josh,
I
you can make a
checked.
bunch of money.
Yeah,
I'm good,
that
Dad.
doesn't surprise me.
First word that comes to mind when I
Shit.
think of Josh is difficult. He was the most stubborn person on the planet. But behind that stubbornness was a person full of love, creativity, personality, spunk, and a truly gentle spirit.
Oh, don't use the word monkeys.
When I ask you to think of Josh,
Oh,
I'm sure
I
you'll
get
think
it,
of
but
cobras,
it's-
magic wands, Ozzy Osbourne,
today it's not a great
Guitars.
word to use.
Stemmy Sean,
No.
or maybe even Puff, his bearded dragon. I think of these things too. But I also think of our childhood, watching Cartoon Network together. From Courage the Cowardly Dog, to Teen Titans, to Dexter's Laboratory. He did an amazing Dexter impression. I think of sitting in our basement playing Guitar
I
Hero.
never knew that.
And him whooping my ass
I
at
never
it,
heard
but
it
he would
either.
always give me a chance. Or even the skateboarding game he would play on PlayStation, where yet again he would try to teach me cool tricks. I think of staying up until 3 a.m. watching Ghost Hunters marathons and his desire to scare me all the time and being successful at it. We even went ghost hunting in our own basements multiple times. I think of his love for animals, how gentle, patient, and caring he was with them. I remember when a squirrel fell out of a tree in our front yard, and he tried to put it back on a branch. It bit him.
I think this is one of the few times I've ever heard
he would have done it again
talk.
if it meant helping an animal.
Like, I never knew he had a sister.
Or a rescue dog,
to
Chance.
be honest.
Who's obnoxious in his own ways. But Josh could get through to him.
Yeah, this is sister.
We talked about him until the day he died. And I'm sorry that he could never meet his nephew Louie, who is currently playing with a toy so obnoxiously that he'll probably make it into this video. I think of thunderstorms and his belief that he could conjure them. There have been many storms since he passed.
And I do
I'd
feel
like to
for
think it's him
her.
telling us he's
Like,
okay.
this is genuine. It's not to say none of it was genuine. It's
That
genuine.
he's at peace now.
Like, I feel bad for her. 100%.
I'm honestly not sure if I'll ever be able to not think of him when
It's hard to like lose a sibling.
Josh left an everlasting impact on the world. While he was notorious online, and definitely had some radical opinions, I ask you to join me in remembering the artistic, creative, kind, gentle, ghost-loving, incredible Dexter impersonator, guitar hero champ, Cobra-loving, magician, Ozzy Osbourne's biggest fan, most insane chef, if you could even call it that, storm conjuring, crosswalk changing, musician. That was Josh. It will be hard to find a soul as unique as his. But Josh will live on in many different ways. 34 is officially the coolest age. There's comfort in knowing that he'll be watching every time it storms, or when an animal is saved, or even every time Ozzy Osbourne is played. I just know he's rocking with Ozzy, with Puff on his shoulder, an epic pipe hanging from his mouth, and all of our dogs watching from the crowd. Please give Obi a kiss for me. I love you so much, Josh. And I'm sorry I didn't get to say it enough while you were here.
That must have been rough.
You were a good big brother.
Yeah.
And we'll miss you always.
Whenever we went anywhere in public, Josh would hold the door for whoever was behind him, which sometimes scared people because Josh, again, kind of had a scary appearance sometimes. And he'd stop and hold the door for the person behind them. And quite often, people paid no attention, would just say thank you. Other times, they'd look a little sheepish, but they'd go through and smile and say thanks. But that's who Josh was. He was very kind. Anybody that ever came to his house, we had to get on him about this all the time because random people would show up at his house because of his YouTube. And he just let them in. Hey, come on in, have a beer. And if you were one of those people that went to his house, you know that. And all the people I've ever seen
That was the
go to his
case.
house said that.
There were several homeless people he just let into his
and that's who
apartment.
Josh was.
They get him in
he
trouble.
was very kind and very nice.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I remember when he got his first
It's just like
apartment,
Seinfeld.
he kept getting in trouble for letting
Yeah.
homeless people stay with him. And because, it's a violation of his lease. And the landlord said that one time she came in and there was 10 different people, I think she said, that one day sleeping on his floor. And, kept having to have talks with him. And she said, Clint, he's not getting it. Can you please talk to him? And I sat him down and I talked to him and said, buddy, you can't do this or you're going to get kicked out of your apartment. And he said, but Dad, it's cold outside. They don't have anywhere to go. And that's who he was as a human. That was the deepest part of who he was. It was that loving, caring person. So when Josh started to become famous, he'd always say, you don't realize how famous I am, Dad. And he was right. Everywhere we went, we ran into fans. everywhere, and it was crazy. The last few times we traveled, and Josh didn't travel with us a lot as he got older, because as he got older it got harder. Even just going on a Thanksgiving weekend, he'd break down, because it was just that any change in his daily routine was just so hard for him. And he had his daily routine, and it had to be the same every day. He got up, he did X, Y, and Z in that order. And oh my gosh, that kid, when he'd take a shower, he'd stand in the shower for at least an hour until he ran out of hot water, and do comedy routines. And so when I'm picking him up for appointments, it was always so frustrating, because I learned I had to tell him that I was picking him up at least an hour earlier than I needed to pick him up, because Josh had no concept of time. No concept
this was the same story that he
numbers.
told during
They just didn't make any sense to him. Time and numbers didn't. Money, he had no concept of it. $5, $500, they were the same. It was just a 5, and that really meant nothing to him. Same with time. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 hours didn't mean anything. It was so abstract to him, and he really, really struggled with those things. And he, when I'd pick him up, Josh, I'm going to be there in 5 minutes. Be ready. I show up. Oh, hey, Dad. I said,
just getting ready.
No, I'm just getting in the shower. Dude, you don't have time to take a shower. We got to go now. But whenever you pressure Josh, especially
take him another
hurrying,
hour,
he would
he'd
totally
have to sit
break
out
down.
there.
And then it was be what
he would actually
not me.
wash
He
himself.
would call it one of my autistic fits, and because he would just have a breakdown, and then I'd have to calm him down and have to get him back on track. So I learned the hard way many years ago not to push him in terms of time, but it was always so hard, especially when we're running late. So I just started telling him, if I had to pick him up at 2:30, I'd tell him 1:30, and I'd show up at his house an hour early, knowing that he was about to get in the shower and do a 1-hour comedy routine. As I sat in his living room listening to him,
I think that's really
and he
funny.
cracked himself up in his comedy routines quite a bit, which was always great. So that's what he did, and that routine was tough. And when we got out of that routine, it was really, really hard on him. So he didn't travel with us a lot. But the last couple times we traveled, every single gas station we stopped at, every single restaurant, people would recognize him. And they'd come up and want to do selfies with him, which he, of course, always did. And he'd never say anything. He would just turn around after doing a selfie with somebody, and he'd look at me with a big old shit-eating grin on his face, and he'd give me his horns up signs with his hands and bob his head up and down as if to say, told you. And even in the airport, the last time we flew, several people recognized him in the airport. You could see him pointing and talking, and they'd finally come over and ask him
how many
if they
people
could take
point
a
out
picture.
DSP?
Josh always would, of course.
Nobody, because DSP's never outside.
And he loved being
he doesn't go outside.
That was like his biggest thing, which leads me to Josh's biggest passion, which was music. And from the time Josh was a toddler, he loved music. He'd go up and he'd climb up on Grandma's piano bench and start playing the piano, banging on it, of course. He's a toddler. But even the banging wasn't like what I'd seen most toddlers do when they'd bang. It actually didn't, it sounded okay. And we'd let him do it. And then he got into guitars, and he had a harp, tried violin. And he just a real passion for music and loved music. But Josh had a serious learning disorder. And learning for him was really, really, really hard. So he would get very frustrated very easily, which is also very common with with him as a person and the type of autism he had. And so learning was such a frustrating thing for him, and he was smart enough to know that he struggled with it. And so that, I think, made it even harder, because he knows he's smart enough to understand this, but he doesn't, and then he would just get so hard on himself. I've never met a human being who was more hard on himself than Josh was. It was a constant thing of telling him, Josh, lighten up on yourself, man. Give yourself a break. Quit. And he would try, along with that, he'd try so hard to push people away all the time, too. And it was more of a defense mechanism, I think. If I can push you away from me, then you can't hurt me. Or if I'm the one leading the hurt, then you can't hurt me. Which is so sad to watch. And he did it his whole life. And that's one of the reasons he and I were so close, because he tried over and over to push me away as well, and there's no way I was going anywhere. And he'd push and push and push, and he'd be out of my life for a couple days, and then he'd come back and I'm so sorry, Dad. I thank you for never giving up on me, type of stuff.
Look at the boys.
Which, of course, I'm never going to
get a couple of boys in the woods.
Anyways,
look at that top hat.
Yeah.
Back to his love for music. So
what
from the time he was little, he loved music, but again, he had a hard time learning. So when he'd put him in music lessons, and he had a guitar teacher who was a friend.
This guy was going out of
because I don't
control
want him to
with
get
these
targeted,
images, man.
But he was like this cool high school kid in the town we lived in who was an epic guitar
That's kind of
player.
shit that you
And they had a band, and the band was
as a
known by
cover
everybody in
shot.
town, and they played all the time. And these guys were
that's
just
what it's.
awesome. And it became Josh's dream at that point. He was going to be a rock star, and that was his dream. And I remember this guitar teacher is just a really cool guy. We're still friends today, and he just couldn't. He's like, Josh just couldn't learn, and Josh would get so frustrated, and so he had a really hard time. But this guy was so patient with Josh and so kind, and always just really tried to help him. And he did a lot of good for Josh, even though Josh really struggled with learning just basic music. But Josh just kind of like making his own sounds, and he had an ear for it, so he could usually hear something and repeat it at least recognizably. And so that's kind of what he liked to do with his music, and it's what he did with his music. And as with everything in life with Josh, he just did his own thing.
Pose.
And he was who he was, and that's what he did. But his goal is to be a rock star. And I remember, when he was little, we've always talked in our family, I don't care what it is you want to be, you can be it. Whatever you want to do in life, go do it. And don't let anything stop you. Never give up. Chase your dreams, chase your passions. And Josh wanted to be a rock star. So
I swear Cobra didn't see his death coming. It's actually tragic, dying from alcohol or anything is sad. Very terrifying. But there's those narcs that show no empathy or understanding. It's funny enough because if you go back far enough, you actually know that Cobra did actually predict his death in one of the earlier, I think it's in the second apartment after he, it was the one where he dyed his hair before going to Wendy's. I think it's that apartment. But he did predict his death at 34. Funny enough. And I think in a way he kind of knew he was fucking his life up. It's really sad to see that because nobody, I know around here with any of the research we did, nobody was enjoying how he was fucking his life up. It was really rough to watch. But I think we all kind of knew it was going downhill, especially within the last 3-4 months. It just seemed like he was just in endless pain, and it really did suck to see. He was most self-aware locale. Yeah, to a degree, I think. It was just kind of rough,
No,
all right,
exactly.
buddy, let's do this thing. And I, talk to him about what that path was, how to become a rock star. What do you got to do? And he didn't want to do any of that. And I'd be like, well, Josh, if you want to be a rock star, you're going to have to do this, kind of follow the steps here. And as usual, Josh, he would just do his own thing. So, nope, I'm doing it my way. I'm doing it my way. Thank you to Deathbed Tapes for publishing Josh. He made his life dream come true.
Some of his albums, though, some of Cobra's albums
because
were
of you,
pretty,
he's
pretty fun.
Legitimate.
Some of them
rock
not
star.
so much.
He's recorded.
They were
I just
pretty
remember
good.
Tevin having him
never know what
play
that
in the
did.
background.
For him.
Yeah.
How
Ozzy passing
amazing that
made Cobra's
was,
heart gave up.
for him,
I think
and
it
how
really did
cool
accelerate things.
It made him feel, because he was legit. He was
it
a
had to
great
have been
rock star,
rough on
and
him, but
that's,
he didn't
nothing could ever
display
take
it
that away from
immediately.
him. No amount of harassment, no amount of bullying, no amount of tormenting could take away the fact that he produced all those albums. And he was such a thing of pride for him. And believe it or not,
song? If not, we can
Josh did not have a lot of pride for himself.
Yeah.
Josh was very, very hard on himself, as I mentioned earlier. So it was really amazing as his dad to get to see him feel pride. So that's Josh's music. He's a bona fide rock star now. Josh was not perfect by any means. Of course, nobody is. God knows I'm not. And Josh was quite literally one of the most stubborn human beings I've ever met in my life. And he had a defiant disorder that was insanely strong. Quite often I would just look at him and say, Josh, the sky's blue, just to start an argument, because it didn't seem to matter what was said to him. He was going to argue with it, and he was going to fight it, and he was going to go the other direction. But then the little turd was also smart enough, then when you try to use reverse psychology on him, he'd recognize it in a heartbeat, and then just call you out on it and run with it the other direction and just frustrate you to the no ends. It was like a superpower he had to be stubborn and argue with anything and refuse to let anybody help him in his online world, along with all of the tormentors. There were a lot of people who legitimately tried to help him, deathbed tapes being one of them. And I think it's exhumed images, if I have that right, with his t-shirts and stuff. But that was tough. Josh would not let people help him. I tried so hard to help him with his YouTube channel. I have a lot of video editing experience and photography, and I wanted to help him. And nope, this is mine, which I totally respected. He needed to do this without me.
This is mine.
This needed to be his thing.
Leave it alone.
Without help from his dad, which I got. But he wouldn't accept help from anybody. He always had to do everything his own way. And he was so damn stubborn. When the horseradish story always kills me. When he was in 6th grade, and I was making a sandwich, I had a horseradish, and I say, Josh, want to try some horseradish? He said, yeah, and I got some on a spoon. And he went to bite it, and I said, whoa, don't, do not put that in your mouth.
I kind of wish he didn't
just a little bit. This stuff's really hot, that they will hurt you, literally hurt you.
It's just fun to listen
and he's just
about
looking at me with that stubborn look, and I said, Josh, don't do it. Yeah. And I know the look, and I'm like, don't do it, man.
Yeah,
and he shoved that whole spoonful of horseradish in his mouth, and just lost it. I mean, blowing snot everywhere, tears out of his eyes, literally on the floor, hollering because of the pain. And I'm like, dude, I told you. Which brings me to Josh's learning curve. So interesting, because Josh had an incredible memory, except for learning. So Harry Potter, when our kids, we read when they were young, we read bedtime stories to our kids every night. And I remember when Harry Potter came out and Tanis heard about it, and she's like, oh, I'm going to get that for Josh. I think he'd love it. And Josh, so she got it. But of course, when she says, Josh, you're going to love this, he immediately said, no, I'm not. And she said, trust me, you're going to love this. Nope, I'm going to hate it. And I'm like, And so Tanis said, well, I'm going to read it. And Josh goes, well, I'm not going to listen. And Tanis said, fine. I'm going to read this for bedtime story. You can choose to plug your ears if you'd like, but I'm reading it. And sat down and started reading it. And then Josh, of course, had his ears plugged. And she kept reading and read, and pretty soon his ears were unplugged. And then when she stopped reading, he said, hey, wait, can we keep going? And from that point on, he was a huge Harry Potter fan, as we all were. And as he got older and grew out of bedtime stories, as the books, continued to come out, he started reading his own books. And I will credit Harry Potter for helping him learn to read, because that was a huge motivator for him to learn to read, because he really loved reading Harry Potter. Harry Potter trivia, our family loves Harry Potter, so we do a lot of stuff with Harry Potter. And we have Harry Potter trivia games, and it's not really a game because all of us know pretty much all the answers. But on game night, Josh was always in and out of game night. Sometimes he'd come, sometimes he wouldn't. But some of the games he struggled with, so it made him feel stupid, so he wouldn't want to play, which I totally get. But that one he would play, but he wouldn't play. I'll just watch. All right, man, you sure? Yep, I'll just watch. And we'd have teams. And if there was an answer nobody could get,
we actually did get a little bit of a story about him seeing a
get his little Josh
and holding up a snake,
chuckle going, and I say, what? Yeah. And he'd give us the answer, and he'd sit, and he knew all of it. He could remember all of it. But when it came to learning music or learning a math problem,
that was a good thing.
We could teach him the process, and he would learn it, but the next day he'd forget it. And we'd teach it to him again, and he'd forget it, and teach it to him again, and forget it. And so the way his brain functioned was really weird like that, and I don't understand it. And the doctors didn't understand either on why he could have such a great memory, but certain things he just really struggled with learning and remembering. And the horseradish, long walk here, was one of those stories. Just last year, I think it was Easter, and he was over for Easter supper, and we're having prime rib, and had horseradish, and he put this gigantic blob of horseradish on this tiny piece of meat, and he was getting ready to eat it. And I said, Josh, don't do it. And he gave me that look, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And I'm like, Josh, I'm serious, man. Do not eat that. That is hot. Nope. Bam, it goes in his mouth. Bam, the sinuses empty. He's coughing and raging and bellowing on the floor, and tears running down his face. But that was Josh, in a nutshell, his stubbornness. And when he first moved out of the house, he became so independent. And he was so tired of me trying to parent him, so he just blocked me. It was the most frustrating thing in the world. He'd block me on social media. He'd block my phone so I couldn't call him.
He was more
and then I'd have to go to his house. Yeah. And he lived in it, or in his apartment.
Smooth, lumpy
and he lived
guy.
in a controlled apartment, so you couldn't get in.
That's,
So I'd have to go around the back, through the alley, and down the side of the building and knock on his window just to see Josh, because he had me blocked everywhere. And then I'd knock on his window, and he comes in and goes, "Oh, hey, Dad, what's up?" As if he doesn't have me blocked on everything. I'm like, dude, you blocked me on everything.
The era
oh, yeah, sorry about that. I'm like, come on, and
the second apartment.
Unblock me. So he goes, "No, you're always trying to tell me what to do."
Biking
I'm like, Josh, I'm your parent. I'm supposed to help you navigate life. And
definitely kept lean.
You're always bossing me around. And a lot of that was more than parenting. Of course, as a parent, Josh had chosen a path that I didn't picture for him, and I did in his earlier life. Those earlier late teen, early 20 years, tried to mold him differently. I remember about the third time he blocked me on everything, and I came to the realization that if I'm going to have him in my life, I'm going to have to accept who he is. That didn't just mean accept him and just, okay, you can be whatever, but I don't approve of it. That meant I had to fully accept who he was and go even one step further, and I had to be proud of who he was. And so I remember this is a huge realization for me and a huge turning point in his later life, because Josh and I had always been extremely close his entire life. But then there was like 2 years where it was really rough, because it was just nonstop fighting because he didn't like my parenting and I didn't like the choices he was making. Very common for that age with most parents and kids that age.
But with Josh's extreme era.
The way he thought about things, and everything became very extreme in his mind. It was always kind of at a next level with Josh. So those 2 years were rough, and I realized that, no, I'm not going to lose Josh, and I need to just, I had these conversations with myself. All right, Dad, that's enough. You need to be proud of your boy and accept him for who he is. And up to that point, I always kept thinking,
belligerent at a gas station.
It's a phase, or he's going to grow out of this.
Wasn't that fun of a time?
But that isn't how it works. And not only that, but he doesn't need to change. He can just be him. And I need to accept that. And when I did, it was a huge moment for me. And I had to go trek down the alley and down the side of the building and knock on his window because he had me blocked. And went in, we had a heartfelt talk. And I remember when I told him I was proud of him and who he was. And I was very relieved for myself because I knew it was true, and I believed it. I wasn't just saying it, and then from that point on, Josh and I were again very, very close, and have been right up until he died, which I'm thankful for. Not that he died, of course. I'm thankful that we were close, and those 2 years were just kind of left behind, and we became the dynamic duo again. So that was Josh. Josh's stubbornness. Josh was literally the most unique human being I've ever met. He truly marched to the beat of his own drum and did so unapologetically, despite nonstop judgment, harassment, and the abuse he lived with. I sincerely wish that I could have the courage to be so true to myself without fear of judgment. And I told him this every day that I saw him. Josh,
I wish you didn't.
You are the strongest person I know. Yeah, I don't know another human being who can
of all the pictures,
harass me and deal with on a daily basis and be okay.
Just pick one of the other ones.
In any way, shape, or form. The nonstop abuse and to just still have a smile on your face of any kind was amazing to me. And he was such a strong person. And I think as a parent,
I think that was when he was
of a child with special
Wanwood,
needs, and I think most parents with children with special needs would say the same thing. I learned way more
it
from
truly
Josh
is a Josh shirt
than I ever taught him.
That's definitely true.
Because I learned about life, and I learned about people, and I learned about acceptance, and I learned about tolerance, and I learned about patience, and I learned about all of this because I have such a unique, wonderful, beautiful boy.
I'm not allowed.
Whenever my family and friends would ask me, "How's Josh?"
They are
I'd
funny
say,
images.
He's Josh.
I think it helps
He's
with
just
it.
Josh.
It's like I do feel bad for Clint. I really do. Because it's tough for any father, but I think it's not like he doesn't
friends who knew
miss
Josh
Josh.
would always say, "Yep, I get
It's
that."
just kind of coming to terms with it.
Like to raise a glass to Josh. Drink combo if you got it.
Guys, all right. This is the moment right here. I'm gonna pour a shot out. I'm gonna pour a quick shot right here into the glass. We're already out of the beer that I had. That was okay. I got whatever you need to drink.
I got my Labatt vat still here.
All right. Chat, if you have it ready, please, if you can, raise a toast in honor of life. I don't know if he counts us now. Does he count us
and Josh, when this is over, I'll go pour one out for you, buddy.
All right.
Do a toast to you right now.
There we go.
As we all are.
A toast to life. A toast
Josh,
to Cobra.
You accomplished something in life.
Let's go, you too.
You made a difference. You accomplished something that most people want in life but won't achieve. You left your mark on the world, and you're going to be remembered. I wish you could see just how much you were loved and cared about, Josh. But deep down, I honestly think that you knew that most people were rooting for you and not against you, buddy. Josh, I'm so proud to be your dad.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
And I'm gonna miss you more than you can ever know. To Josh, long live Gothic King Cobra.
Fuck sickos.
Long live the king. Hail Satan. That's a great image. Yeah, long live King Cobra JFF.
Fucking mad.
Drown myself until tomorrow until I'm somebody else. Say goodbye to this life. Say goodbye to this life.
I don't know if we can pour another.
No, I'm not gonna pour it out. I don't want that on the carpet. I think we're good.
Watching my memories fade.
Don't say Rich Evan. That's not Rich Evan. Oh my!
Josh Saunders, the King Cobra, aka King Cobra JFS. I can't come to the phone right now because I'm busy kicking ass at life and being a badass. If you leave your name and number, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you're one of my trolls, get a life, losers. If you're one of my fans, thank you for the support. If you're friends, family, or anyone else, I'll get back to you ASAP. Thank you, and have an awesome day.
Oh man, that actually was kind of a gut shot to see that. I really didn't want it. Wasn't expecting to see that chair.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Yeah, what a closing image. That, I think that speaks more volume than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Well, that was Cobra. You know what? Minus Clint talking about the trolls. I wish he didn't. But I think overall that was a great send off for Cobra.
It was.
Yeah. It was kind of hard. But yeah, that definitely was some closure, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Well, it gave us more of like a, I never knew all those other stories of Cobra. Like, I just only, knew him already in the apartment before the trailer.
Yeah.
And just him making wands and shit like that, and his face getting up close to it, and it's like, oh, that's not fucking safe, buddy. What are you doing?
Yeah, it was yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of glad that I definitely am glad that I got a chance to see it. That must have been great for a lot of the people who were Cobra fans, and that was fucking sad. I don't think you'll ever, as morbid as it is to talk about death, I mean, death will one day come for us all, of course. And I don't want to just do the compare, but I don't think you'll get that kind of same treatment for any of the people that we follow unironically. I think that's something a little bit reserved for Josh, since he was kind of just he was a guy, man. He was the guy, but he was his own guy,
Yeah, he's I don't want to say a persona, but he was just he was raw, I guess you'd say. You were saying before, that he just whatever he wanted to do, he would go do it. That's he just wouldn't bother, he didn't have to follow any rules. It was his way, and if it didn't go his way, then it doesn't go.
All right. So just to let people know just how ridiculous everything was. If you want to see a little funny thing, and I'm just showing this on my screen. I went ahead and closed out the share. To kind of give you an idea of how ridiculous things are in the lead up and everything. And this is just one ridiculous case. You'll notice Casper, Wyoming is on the map. That means a lot of activities happening, which is wild when you zoom out and you see the entirety of the United States. But this is W Places, where all the art and everything is getting done. And I'll let you know right now that Cobra is definitely being missed. He definitely had a lot of fans out there doing a whole lot of artwork. A whole lot of artwork indeed. Circles of protections all around, and leaving little notes to let our little boggy boy know that he will be missed. Absolutely. People did care. They absolutely did fucking care. Very wild.
Faithing, really quick, can you share the link?
Yeah. For W Place, let me show you right here. I bring it up and I just zoom in over. You can tell where Casper, Wyoming is. Just look a little south of the Canadian line, and you can't miss it. It's like fucking standing out like a sore thumb because apparently Casper's popping off. When you zoom all the way out, just go south of Regina. It's ridiculous.
South of Regina? You mean
south
Regina?
Sorry, Regina. Go south of Regina.
Yeah. It's the area.
Yeah, people were leaving their tributes and everything for our boggy boy.
Oh, there's Casper.
A lot of stuff that's in the works as well.
Buddy.
Oh man, what a clock tower. I still gotta resume the clock tower. Ignore the furry stuff. Furries seem to take over no matter where you are. Kind of wild. I'm not gonna drink a Papa John's garlic for Cobra. Can you link this? Yeah, this is just W Place. If you've never seen W Place before, there's a link to it. You can go to any place in the world. They have a lot of drawings and everything, and gotta tell you, when people found out about Cobra, it just started popping off, and people were drawing here, and they were just having fun, wanting to dedicate a little bit of time and effort to the gothic bad boy. It makes me feel better after Clint's Boohoo Fest. I mean, fair enough. All right,
yeah,
well, I guess
I think like the first, what was it, like the first whatever 6 minutes of it was kind of meh, but like after that it was worth it.
Yeah.
Hey, there's Kangel. What the fuck?
No one asked you to be cute. Oh man. I'll answer really quick any questions on the YouTube side of things, and of course on the Twitch side of things. We'll prioritize YouTube really quick, just in case if there were any questions, I suppose, before I end the YouTube segment. I'll probably play for a little bit on Twitch and then call it a night. But I was kind of glad for getting a chance to check it out, and I guess going forward, probably just be listening to a lot of Cobra music on the side. Maybe some of the funniest moments. I know there's one other tribute that I need to check out. We'll probably check it out next week, probably.
Yeah.
But I know there was a question asked earlier. I'll give my thoughts on that. I think I've given my thoughts before. Somebody asked what were my thoughts on Charlie Kirk. What was done was absolutely heinous. Absolutely fucking heinous, and I think some people don't realize the further implications that are had through the idea of destroying somebody, not even necessarily a large public figure, but I mean, if you want to look at it right leaning, left leaning, what have you, in such a manner that really didn't have political aspirations or anything, but to do something like that, it's a lot bigger than you'd think. Spells a lot of worry for regular folks who just want to live their life. If you're worried about people who work from anywhere, I posted this up on Twitter, but anywhere from the food service industry to medical service industry, if you have people that are wishing for your demise because of your political affiliation, that's no good. You probably don't feel well going to places that are going to help or serve you. If they're going to look at you funny or do something funny to you because of your color of shirt that you wear or the color of hat you wear. You know how it goes.
I agree. That's my whole thing on it is I don't really know much about Charlie Kirk, but people celebrating somebody like a father getting killed in front of his family is like that's really fucked up.
It is.
Like That's super fun. Like, what kind of society do we live in that people are okay with that?
Yep. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? But woodchuck could chuck wood? Probably just enough. Just enough.
Just like looking at the
didn't associate with that.
Looking
Yeah. W Place is W Place is the equivalent of way back in the day they had what is it, R Place or Reddit, and they used to do this shit for effectively for drawing on Google Maps. People used to draw shit all the time.
You got the fucking the Cobra press.
I like the art. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, there is a wet and juicy in here, ain't there? I think I saw that before. Like a snipe. The Snipe King. Tactical soap. Not a sponsor.
That is fun.
Well, if we don't have anything more outside of that, I don't think we have anything else. For those of you who are wondering on YouTube, I am at, I think next week or maybe the week after, I am going to take a day to do a DSP catch up. There's quite a few things that I need to catch up for DSP. It's been about, 4 months since I think I did the last thing about DSP. I feel like it's time to catch up and see what he's been doing. I have a couple of things on the menu. He's been boring as all hell, but some of the recent things have been kind of exciting in a weird way. He has a gamer injury for playing Silk Song of all things.
Yeah.
That was pretty fucking stupid.
Got a sprain, you guys.
So I just figure at this point, just go to quarterly updates and just leave it at that. You might get 4 updates a year at this rate, unless he stops being boring. And he's going to continue to be boring. So I don't know. Look forward to that. But thanks everybody on the YouTube side of things. I appreciate you stopping by, hanging out. Thank you for celebrating Cobra. I know some people were a little worried about the post that I made for the Facebook thing, but I think it was necessary to kind of keep that archived. You don't want to lose that. I feel like one of these days that video might go away, and I don't want that to. And I don't think Clint is going to get rid of all the videos. I think initially I was thinking about doing an archive. I'm going to leave it be for right now because I don't think he's going to archive anything. Or I don't think he's going to delete anything, so the archive will stay there. But I'll look towards getting another drive and see if I can do some backups. It is what it is. But for the YouTube folks, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate it very much, very bigly. We'll see you next time. We're going to continue on Twitch for a little bit longer. I kind of goof off. So until then, we'll see you guys.
Thanks for having me, YouTube. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah, that was